In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your feature piece for the top of your USB lamp to get it ready for the laser cutting process. So first things first, you need to find an image that you like. If I go to right mouse click, copy that image, and I go to 2D design, and I'm going to paste that image down there quickly. Now last year, you had to draw your designs manually. Because you've already been through those skills, we're going to show you a shorter method. So we go to contour bitmap, and I'm going to set the contour line to 0.1, so that's as close to the outline of the object as I possibly can get it. This bitmap contour tool works best with silhouettes. So if you've got a clear outline like we do here, it will stick to it and trace it for you. So let's just have a look and see if that's worked. So if I click on the background, and we can see we've got an outline there. Okay, so if I go to edit and undo, because I need to draw the mask in. So we are going to use some of the skills that we covered last year. And I'm going to just draw. Now notice how I'm starting away from the actual object. I have to make sure those lines cross over, because if I don't, when I laser cut, I might not get a clean cut. And also, if I was to try and fill this with color, unless I start outside of the actual lines that I'm drawing, so you can see there's going to be an intersection. You have to have that crossover just to eliminate any gaps that may have formed if I tried to just do it manually. Okay, so I'll click there. I'm going to hold on to the delete tool, go on to delete part of an object. In fact, what I'll do, I get rid of the image first. Okay, so we can see the character there, and I'm going to delete those end parts off there. Now remember, that'll be a complete join there because we crossed the line over. Make sure your lines cross. Let me just test that and see if it works. A boundary fill, just say I wanted to fill that with red, and there we go. You can see that will fill fairly easily. We're not too bothered about the color at the moment. What I want to do now is to set up the actual panel that we are going to be covering with our design. So I go to gridlock, make sure that's on 5, press OK, and now the actual size of this shape is 65 millimeters down and 55 millimeters across. So you can see here where it says rel, that is where your measurements will be measured. So I just use the cursor keys, 65 down and 55 across. Okay, so we're going to make our design a suitable size to fit on here. Now, when we're resizing, we don't squash and drag, and we don't do any of that because you will ruin your work. What we do is we hold down any of the 4 corner points and we hold down Shift. So I'm going to drag that there, and I'm going to move that. So you can see it's still slightly too big for the 65 by 55 panel. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit more so it fits on. All right, I'm going to take that away now. Now, as you can see, if I was to laser cut that drawing as it is, we'd be able to see the back of that panel, which means we'd see the back of the circuit board, etc. So we don't want to do that. So as a result, I'm going to create another background panel. Now, it could be any shape. It could be a rectangle. Could be something just to cover this panel. All right, so that's going to cover that. It's not too much bigger than the rectangle. If we go too big, the design on top will be too heavy, and it will mean that the design will be unstable because the lamp will tip over. And then I'll just make sure my design goes in there. So I could have that background a particular color, and then I've got the character on top, which both will cover the panel where the circuits and the LED and everything else will go. So now we have to set this design up for the laser cutter. So that is going to be one feature. Now with this feature, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy, because if I make a mistake on that, I will have to start again. So with the laser cutter, we are able to cut and engrave. So because I drew this line separately, it still selects as a separate line. Now for the engrave, I would like you to change that line color to red. So if you want to have some engraving on your design, you need to change the line color so that it will just burn slightly into the surface. And on this one here, I would like the mask to be, so it can actually be a different color and go into here. So what I'll do, I'll make a copy of the character, and I am going to delete everything but the mask part. Got to be careful not to delete the mask. So you might want to zoom in to get more control. And I'm going to get rid of all the rest of that now. So that is a mask that I will have. The mask reflection, I'm going to make a copy of that. So these are all the separate panels. So that mask reflection, that would be white. I could have this mask as like a light blue or grey. And then I would, now remember I've got this spare one over here. I would delete the front of this mask part here. Oops. You know what? I'll leave it in for now. So what I'm finding here is that when I delete this line, oh, it's worked now. Okay, so I can delete the front of that mask area here. And delete these little bits, get rid of all the little lines because they will show up at some point. So this mask is going to slide into this piece. It's going to slot into there. And then the light feature will fit into there. So I've got to decide the colors I'm going to use now. So I want you to do all of this and then save your file on the memory stick that will be passed around, and we'll get it sorted and ready for laser cutting in the forthcoming weeks. So I'm going to go to the ABC tool, and I'm going to go to type in white for the reflective feature on the mask. Can shrink that down. And then, sorry guys, my mouse is a bit, I'm going to make a copy of that. Now, if I want to amend text, when you highlight your text, if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see a box say property. Just click on that. You can change that to blue. And then I'm going to make a copy of that again. Now remember, this is all the correct size because we sized up our panels to fit over the actual framework of the LED holder. Go back to property, change that to red. Okay, and then the background to cover the actual panel, I could turn that, I don't know, change that to black maybe. Okay folks, now once you've done that, it's best if you save your design. So press save so you've got a copy, and then ask the member staff who's teaching you for the memory stick, and you save the design as your name. There should be a folder on the memory stick that is labeled for your group, so save it in the correct folder, and then over the forthcoming weeks we'll be able to get everything organized for you so we can laser cut. Okay, sorry for the length of the video, but that covers everything, I think. Thank you for listening, and good luck.